From paperwork to approvals, bank accounts to deadlines, accounts payable management tasks can easily pile up. Just look at today's process. You have to manage invoices, process approvals, make payments, and reconcile accounts. All of these manual processes are more than just incredibly inefficient. Without proper controls and separation of duties, they can potentially put your data at risk and expose you to fraud. Bill pay doesn't have to be this way. With the Bill.com Intelligent Payments platform, you can save 50% of time spent on accounts payable and reduce your risk at the same time. Go paperless and reduce data entry with intelligent invoice capture and unlimited document storage. Streamline workflows and reduce confusion with automated approval routing. Make more secure domestic or international electronic payments with a click. Sync data and journal entries with your general ledger to avoid tedious extra accounting work. Bill.com eliminates the manual, time-consuming steps and secures your payments process, giving you time back in your day and peace of mind. Learn more at Bill.com today.
Please welcome our next speaker, Tracey Santos, a customer experience manager. Today, she will be presenting why, what, and how, transitioning from GP to D365 BC. Please stick around after Tracey's session for a live Q&A.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this session, transitioning from Dynamics GP to Dynamics Business Central. Thank you so much, DynamicsCon, for inviting us to speak today. It's been an amazing event, so many great sessions. It's all about education and building that community, even during these challenging times. So I know I'm super excited to be presenting this topic today. My name is Tracey. Sorry, I guess I should have said that. My name is Tracey Santos. I work for Encore Business Solutions. We're a Microsoft partner in North America. And I've actually been in this business for 25 years, and I absolutely love the Dynamics GP community. So super excited to be here today with you guys and going over this topic. It's top of mind, I guess, for a lot of Dynamics GP customers. They've got these questions and they've heard about Business Central and getting information from the community and from partners and from Microsoft. So again, it's a great topic for us to talk about today. And again, you can type in your questions anytime. Anytime you have a question, just pop it in over there and we'll be addressing those questions at the end of the session. And again, just keep those questions coming, because I'm sure if you've got that question, someone else in the community has that question as well. So let's get started. So again, why are clients moving? Why are GP customers moving to Business Central? And what does that transition mean? And what should you expect? How does it work? What happens to your data? And what are your peers saying about these transitions? Because again, this has been happening for the past few years, and your peers, the community at large, has been making that move from GP to Business Central. So again, let's remember that this session is all about education, and this community is dedicated to you and helping you make that transition. So we know why cloud is a smart choice, because we get to stay current on the latest technology, reduce costs and free up resources, improve security, privacy, and reliability, increase confidence from real-time visibility. And for the first time, for some organizations, decision makers can view key business data, reports, and metrics in real time. Beyond productivity, this real-time view into data fosters confidence in those who need to use it. So again, we might have come from a company that has many business systems, and we weren't able to get that all-encompassing view of that information. So here we're going to be able to centralize our data from accounting, sales, purchasing, inventory, and customer interactions for an accurate end-to-end view of your business. You're going to be able to spot trends, prevent issues, and deliver greater customer experiences. Again, top of mind today is empowering that mobile workforce. A lot of us are working from home. So gain that powerful desktop capabilities needed across all platforms: Windows, iOS, Android. Utilize a user experience that is consistent and secure across devices. Again, got these people working from home. How secure is it? The user experience. So again, we want that consistent user experience. The other night I went on and I was ordering something online, and I'm trying to fill out my address, and for the life of me, I just could not enter the city. Even though the field was there, I could not go in and enter that. So I had to go to another device, and then sure enough, city came up and I was able to activate that. So again, by using Business Central, again, the user experience is consistent across all platforms. You're not going to run into that situation where I can't see that form, or I can't use this device to enter the information on that form. So again, that consistent experience is super important. So again, you're going to gain that complete picture of your business with easy to create reports and dashboards. Built-in analytics helps proactively inform and guide. Get a complete picture of your business with an easy to create reports and dashboards. Built-in analytics helps proactively inform and guide your employees. That is something that comes up over and over again, and we're going to be talking about some Forrester research about businesses having to have so many different applications to create reports and create that data visualization to make business decisions. We have that right at the desktop, right there when we go into Business Central. So again, another great value add of making that decision and that move. I get so excited talking about these topics and all these things, these benefits of making this transition. Obvious, I didn't read it out, but it's right there on the slide for you to see, is upgrades. How many of us would like to put up our hand to say, would we like to never have to do an upgrade again? So I mean, that's an obvious benefit of it. So again, no more upgrades. That annual enhancement, that's no longer there. Servers, no more servers. So again, we've got that scalability, that flexibility, centralizing our data, and empowering that mobile workforce. All great business benefits of value, add a lot of value to your organization individually as employees and the organization overall. So some more business benefits. Again, that ability to go from quote to cash without switching applications. Again, setting up customers, vendors, quotes, orders, submitting invoices without leaving your inbox. So again, that whole vision of those interconnected applications. And so that ability for Business Central to work seamlessly with Outlook, you can actually do a lot of work just right out of Outlook. For those of you that have been in this Dynamics GP space for a long time, I can remember a convergence many years ago where Bill Gates was on stage and he just said, the future, he goes, I want to see that our financial systems can be run out of Outlook. And again, here we are, we're experiencing that one Microsoft and being able to do that. So again, we talked about that user adoption. So it's not like learning a brand new application from ground up. That interface is completely familiar. And again, we don't have to worry about those employees. Their efficiency will be back up to speed in no time because it's totally familiar to them. They know how to use it. All of those Power Platform applications, so part of that Office 365 suite is the Power Platform. You've got the ability to use that. So Power BI for your data visualization, Power Apps for building applications, and then Power Automate for flow, doing your workflow. All great applications that enhance the value of Business Central. So lots and lots of benefits. And one statement that we talk about a lot is it's future-proofing your business. So again, you've got that resilient business that can move into the future on this platform, and you're ready for that next stage on your journey. And there's lots of great sessions on Power Platform during Dynamics Con. So I'm sure you might have seen some already or are going to sign up to see some as well. But let's talk about some of the research that's come to light as we examine businesses that have been on Dynamics GP for a long time and are thinking about making that transition. So again, you might have been on Dynamics GP for a long time. Why are we looking at this now? So again, oftentimes in a mature business, systems are disconnected and information is siloed. This is a common problem facing small to medium-sized business, which is the space that we're in. Many The companies will describe scenarios of having to copy and paste or rekey information multiple times and accessing several different systems in order to complete a process or task. Reporting is complicated and provides insufficient information. Reports are very basic. Organizations need to buy additional software or configure existing system reports to get the deeper insights. Both of these are expensive, non-scalable, and time-consuming. How often have you ever come to a meeting and one person says, well, I see this as being the number for sales, or I've got this number for sales, or I have this for customer returns. Well, I have this information for customer returns. When we have different sources of data and we're trying to connect them together, it's very time consuming. And how can we rely on the validity of that data, because this person says this number, this person says another number. So it's great to have one source of data. So we are all reporting on the same information. How about it being too expensive to upgrade and maintain and scale the legacy system? For some, it's gradual growth of the business, which makes the current software insufficient, specifically lack of integration with payroll and inventory systems. For others who have been using the same software for over 10 years, it's become outdated and are no longer supported. Also, maintaining these systems and adding new functionality for ever-changing businesses starts getting very expensive. So again, this is some of the research from Nucleus. There's a whole report on that for the small and medium-sized business sector, and why they're looking at changing from Dynamics GP, their legacy system, into something like Business Central. And again, that's why we're focusing on that and talking about that. So we've got disconnected systems, our reporting becomes a challenge, and then our systems are becoming outdated. And we know what the life cycle is for previous versions of Dynamics GP. And so again, we're keeping an eye on that. And that ability to grow with your business. So again, that unified business management system is going to be a key topic in what we're talking about today. So again, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is an all-in-one business management solution that easily and seamlessly connects people and processes. So it's deeply integrated with Office 365 and includes built-in intelligence. So it's easy to use and to help you make better business decisions. So again, it is based in the cloud. So again, you don't have to have any physical infrastructure for this. And again, we can go over all of the functionality. Again, when we look at GP and we see all the different modules that come out of the box, you're going to see that same type of experience in Business Central, but just a deeper, richer experience. So again, there's, and I included a link there. So when you look at this PowerPoint, you can go to the homepage for Business Central to learn a little bit more about the solution. Again, when we're in the user interface, you can see, that history of GP when we went from that kind of, I think it was in GP 2010 when that new user interface came out. And again, you can see that whole evolution as that interface changed to have it look and feel like Office. So again, Business Central, you get that same familiar interface as Office and using the tools you already know, like Outlook, Word, and Excel. It's easy to use and integrates with all those applications. So again, just like we have in GP, where we might be having some information in Excel, we can dump it out, update it in Excel, and bring it back into Business Central. Another area that's really, really important, there's so many of them, so many areas, but that whole security and enable compliance. So staying on premise could put you at a higher risk for security breaches and non-compliance. The Microsoft Cloud technology delivers end-to-end protection with insights into global cyber threats and capabilities that you can't provide yourself on premise. So remember, Microsoft invests billions of dollars every year just on security alone, and you're going to benefit from that. So again, we want to talk also about reducing costs. So cloud technology helps you deliver a more cost-effective solution than you could provide on premises. By eliminating hardware costs, reducing administration costs, and retiring third-party products, a Forrester Total Economic Impact, which is a report that you have access to, and again, I'll make sure that you have that information so you can look at that. But it's a really interesting report, and it shows that organizations move to the cloud and how much money they did save. And I think I have a slide on that. We can talk about that. So also simplifying IT. They estimate that moving to the cloud is 30 to 50% less expensive than upgrading servers on-premise and reduces administration costs by 40%. So these are of the Dynamics GP and Business Central customers that they reviewed. And again, there's a Forrester Total Economic Impact on Microsoft 365 report. It's very interesting. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what this looks like in the cloud. Again, we've talked a lot about these benefits. Again, moving from Dynamics GP to Business Central, and it is a cloud environment. And you don't have to pay separate for hosting and separate for the application. It's a one price. You get all of those benefits. So with the migration to Dynamics 365 Business Central in the cloud, you'll be able to increase your return that you're getting on your Microsoft investment. Control your costs and complexity and improve your IT team's productivity, along with a whole host of other benefits. Again, we want to make this transition as smooth as possible for you. And there's a whole community out there. Again, all of the partner resources across North America, and they're all there to assist you in getting through this process. So again, that's a very an overview there of cloud, talking about all those benefits of cloud, which we've touched upon. Again, when I think about how many cyber threats there are and those phishing scams and people who've had their data, stolen from them, really, really important. And again, Microsoft's got that 99.9% SLA for that cloud, which provides confidence for all of us in that knowledge of knowing that our business is secure. Now, you may have heard, I'm going to go through this. I think this has 3 different sections here on this slide. But you may have heard of the name Business Central. Back in 2018, that's kind of when that name kind of bubbled up. Well, it's not a new product. It's not something new to the community or the partner system or the partner ecosystem or Microsoft itself. It is a new name for Dynamics NAV. So again, NAV has been around in North America for about 20 years. So it's not something new. It is NAV made available in the cloud. And so it has a new name, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And with that, there are 3 updates a year. So again, those updates happen seamlessly in the background and add new functionality for you. So for example, there might be some regulatory compliance that needs to change, and those updates are just pushed out to you automatically. So again, you don't have to worry about that from an IT perspective or from an end user perspective. Now let's talk about, what if I have some customization, or what if I've built an app or done some special reporting when I'm in Business Central. Again, we've got that Power Platform. So you've got Power Apps. You can build your own applications that extend the functionality of Business Central, or you might have done a bit of development or configuration. So again, when those updates are pushed out, they don't touch the core application. All of your work sits on that outside, and that's why Microsoft is able to provide those updates for you seamlessly, and they won't conflict with the work that you've been doing. So again, we can see that roadmap. There continues to be updates, those 3 updates a year. You can provide feedback. So again, that user community can provide input into the things that they'd like to see improved or changed, or make recommendations. So again, Microsoft is looking for that guidance on what we as end users need from that application. So again, that roadmap continues out going forward. And for those of you that really want to know what this part here means, the VS code to AL and CAL to AL. So again, we come from a Dynamics GP world, and our Dynamics GP is written in Dexterity. So NAV at that time was developed in a development language called CAL. And in our new world, our Business Central world, it is in AL. And so that's where all of that AL code going forward changed in 2019 to be AL code only moving forward. So again, roadmap, always going to have a roadmap from Microsoft letting us know what the future of that application is. So let's go on. This is a kind of a funny slide here for those of us in the room that recognize some of those pictures. So again, flip phone, great. I think there are still people that do still use flip phones, but flip phones, again, back in the day, that was like amazing when we went from the brick mobile phone to a flip phone. One of the earlier laptops is that second image. I think it's a Toshiba. Toshiba was big back in the day when the laptops first came out. And then we have our beloved VCR. We're bringing those images up to let us think back to how technology has evolved over the years. So let's think about GP in that history. So again, when it first came out, DOS-based, and I'll put my hand up, I remember using the DOS-based Dynamics GP. And then it moved to Windows, and then we had that client server with the Windows, and then GP could be hosted. So you could take your GP and host it up in Azure. But it wasn't a cloud solution. But again, GP has served us well in all of these situations. The technology of GP is not suited to work with forward-looking applications. When we think about all the other applications that have come along, again, we've talked about that VCR, and it just won't work today for streaming. So when we do that comparison. So all types of companies have come up with these go-forward applications, not just Microsoft. So this whole landscape of how applications are developed and how they are rolled out amongst the community. Again, they're very much, the community is asked for software as a service. So we want to make sure that we're able to provide that for you as a community. So it's changed. We had this great tech platform and all these additional pieces of functionality that work seamlessly with Business Central. So again, we've got this great, we talk about this ISV and partner ecosystem. They're coming out with great value-added apps that work with Dynamics 365. And then we've got all the process and productivity tools. So when we look at Business Central itself and all of the components of Office 365. And then we have the Power Platform, Power BI, Power Automate, Power Apps, and AI Builder. And then we have that data and intelligence platform. So again, that common data service that allows those applications to speak with each other. And then we've got all our connectors. Again, so many connectors out of the box that are available to you when you're using these applications. And again, that Azure cloud platform. So again, all of that security and that governance and reliability is there for you from a security perspective through the Azure cloud platform. So when we look at all of the value of Business Central, we can't make that happen in our other world. And so we want to look forward with these applications. So again, all of these components work to provide you a resilient business and prepare you for the future. You may have loved your VCR tapes and in the past, but you wouldn't be lugging that around today. We all stream, right? Do we not? We have services. We have, Hulu and Crave and Netflix. So again, although we may have loved our VCR in the past, it doesn't serve us well today. Again, these are all components of making this transition. You're going to get all of these value-added systems will be part of your solution. So let's talk about the name itself, because again, we've all been through this, Great Plains, then it was just called Dynamics, then it was back to GP. And so let's talk about this name. So Dynamics 365 is a family name and Business Central is one of those products. So again, when someone mentions to you, hey, I'm implementing Dynamics 365, or oh, I'm interested in Dynamics 365. Well, which one of the products underneath that umbrella or that family name? I guess I should call it umbrella, not family. So again, we talked a bit earlier, came from NAV. Customers who are using NAV right now, Dynamics NAV, when they want to upgrade to the latest version, they would be on Business Central. So we have GP, Great Plains. We're now going to be transitioning to Business Central. When you're looking at saying, great, well, I've been using GP for a long time and I've got support. You still have that same rich experience in support because again, it's not a new product for Microsoft. It just has a new name. And you'll find that too, when you look out in the community, is those same resources and things that you relied on in the past that had that GP knowledge, those same resources are now becoming skilled and have that experience under the Business Central world. And again, remember that Microsoft values you as a Dynamics customer. You're very important to Microsoft. You're very important to the partner community and to the user group community as well. So let's talk a little bit about licensing. So again, when you do transition, it's a continual discount on that per user per month SaaS pricing, which you can talk to people about, and you get a continual discount with that. When we were in GP, it was concurrent licensing. So we bought a 10 user concurrent license. We could create 300 users, but only 10 could be at a time. So in our Business Central world, it is named users. So you have to think about that. How many named users would you need? And you also have different types of users. So our full user would be full read-write capabilities. So again, those are our transactional users or our power users or people that really are doing the heavy lifting. And then we have team licenses, and those are read. They have full read capability and limited write capability. And they're a much, they're at a reduced cost compared to those full licenses. So again, it's good to look at and say, oh, well, this person only needs to go in and look at this information, and they need to go and approve that PO. So again, we can look at that and say, what types of users would you need? That's the great thing about the users is that scalability. And we talked about scalability earlier. Is in the GP, if I bought a user, and that user was there. Whereas in our Business Central world, maybe I am a seasonal business, and in the wintertime, I need more users because I'm a ski resort. And then I don't need them. And so you can scale up and down. You can activate users and then turn them off, and again, be able to manage that a lot easier. So also as well, we talked about never having to upgrade. So again, if we're on Business Central, no more upgrades. You're always on the latest technology, and it's an all-in-one solution. And again, we're transferring your investments from one application to another. And again, just to note here, there's some really great webinars on the whole Microsoft platform. So again, showing Business Central works with all these other applications. So if you have time, please make sure you attend one of those sessions. And again, if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and put those questions in on the side, and we'll address those at the end. So you are supported by Microsoft, the partner ecosystem, and the user group community. So again, you can connect with any one of these resources to understand what that the transition from GP to Business Central would be like for you. And again, we all want you to be successful with this transition. And you decided to go on this journey, so let's make sure that you're educated. So let's talk a little bit about what to expect. What's going to happen next. Again, lots of great resources. And typically, you want to do is say, great, let's make a roadmap. What does this look like for me? And this is a really great time to review all the areas of your business and document your goals. What's your wish list? Is it automation, workflow? And obviously we want to empower our employees. So it's important to involve them in it. So again, by doing your homework will allow you to create a great transition roadmap. So again, I think that's really important is, we've been on a legacy system of GP, and maybe we've had some challenges. Maybe there's things there we really love. Let's make sure that we're working as a team and getting feedback, because we all know we've all been through projects. We want to get buy-in from everyone. So it's important that we include the employees. And again, change can be scary sometimes, but I think if we include them from the very beginning, that's going to make that transition that much easier. And again, the fact that it is a Microsoft application, all of that user interface is going to be very familiar in how I make sure that, Bill over an accounts receivable, he's going to feel super comfortable when he goes into this new application. So again, by doing that homework and doing that preparation, again, you want to be able to look at, okay, budget. I've got these resources, and if we're going to be doing this project, I want to make sure that we're doing it at a time in our business that makes sense for us. So again, we want to make sure, in your timeline, what's your timeline? Do you want to be over on Business Central in 2022? What does that look like for you as a business? we want to make sure that it aligns with your timeline for sure. Obviously, this comes up, we talk about data. So again, one of the questions someone's probably going to ask you is, great, your data, what do you want to do with it? Sometimes clients want to have a brand new, fresh start. Sometimes they say, you know what, really not happy with my chart of accounts. We've been wanting to redo our chart of accounts. So yeah, I don't know how important that is. It's a good time to look at all your vendors and your customers and your fixed assets, and just really look at all of your data to decide what you want to do. So again, you've got that option, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. The main thing is we want to minimize the disruption to the business. So again, by doing that great preparation, that planning, we call it a roadmap to say, okay, great, you're here today and you want to be over here, and let's see all the things that have to be done. It's a very exciting time because who doesn't like to do something that's going to improve all of their employees, all their teammates' lives on a day-to-day going forward process, because we all know that those employees are doing work outside of the application, or they're looking for solutions that will help benefit the business and solve some type of challenge. And so now we're going to have that situation where, great, we're going to look at this project holistically and see how it can benefit everyone overall. So let's talk about, great, we're doing that transition. What does that look like from my GP perspective going forward? So let's talk about what you're doing right now. The latest name for GP is just GP, then a build number after that. So some of you might be familiar with that, some of you might not. GP, new GP that was released just over 2 years ago, was moved over to a modern lifecycle policy. So again, versions prior to that were called, as you can see here on the slide, 2015, 2016, 2018, and then we had just GP. That's the new name for GP. And we have a transition tool. So it's a Microsoft offered tool that will work with versions 2015 and up. So again, it's brings over the chart of accounts, master records, financial history, and opening balances. So again, you do get your data brought over. And again, there's choices when it comes to that and how you do want to migrate that. There's also in the works currently right now is the vision for Dynamics to have all of your history in an extension database for you to query if needed. So, the last name that I heard was Data Lake. I'm not sure if that's still applicable or not, but this data area where you could use something like Power BI and go and query that historical information. So if you wanted to go and look up the coding for some AP invoice from 5 years ago, they want to make sure that they can provide that for you. Of course, we always have the choice of having GP sitting there as it is right now if we want to go and query that information. But again, you're going to have some decisions to make on using the migration tool, but as well as we're going to talk about if you're on version 2013 or below and the tool doesn't work for you, kind of what your choices are there. So again, you can decide whether you want to bring your data over or start fresh. And again, the partner community and Microsoft continues to improve those migration tools to ensure that you're getting what you need. All right, so how does the transition work? Again, depending on what version you're on, there is the cloud migration wizard. And again, there's some pre-planning done ahead of time in your organization for decisions to make on what you're going to do, because there are going to be some questions in Business Central because it uses a dimensional chart of accounts, which we're all super excited to be moving to from that segmented chart of accounts in GP. So if you haven't seen a session on dimensions, please do, because that's so powerful. And I don't think there's not a business using GP that can't benefit from a dimensional chart of accounts. So we're going to create that or use that migration wizard. The tenant is created and the your licensing is ordered. And again, remember, you get that discount from Microsoft, but you can also start fresh as well. So again, that migration wizard is available to you. And again, something that I've been exploring is kind of a hybrid approach where we actually do use the migration tool to bring that history that's done through the tool, but also start with a fresh company. So you might want to change some of your business processes or change your chart of accounts or various things that you might want to change in your business. So you can have your transition company sitting there for inquiry purposes and reporting purposes, but you can also start fresh with a new company. So that's a choice. So let's say, okay, I'm not on 2015 and above. I'm actually on 2010 or I'm on 2013. So again, you have a choice. That fresh start. So there's tons of templates to dump out the data in GP, clean it up, and then bring it into your Business Central environment. Or you could upgrade to a version that is supported by the migration tool. So again, you do have some choices. That's entirely your choice. And also too, I think an important thing to think about right now is, especially if you've been on GP for a long time, do you want to archive some data? I've got a customer that I've been working with for about 22 years, and they haven't archived any data. And I think, it's about time. I think it's time for that. So now we're going to just talk about some of the feedback we're getting from out in the community. So again, when they're making that decision to move from GP to Business Central, and in particular, one of the testimonials was about the fact that they always felt they had to rely on a group of different people. They didn't feel that they could continue the business. There was no business continuity if those people weren't there. So again, for good or bad, they felt that they didn't have control of the business and those applications. So now, again, they feel a much better place to move forward and build their business. Another situation was things being in separate systems. And so now everything was together. I didn't have to go to one system for customer information, another system for the PO information. So again, that all-in-one business solution, and talking about how happy they were and that was going to be everything they were benefiting from it. So that was really good. This is another client that, interesting background. They were a GP, worked at a GP environment, then had left there and started up working at a different business, and then sitting there going, well, what should we go on? And of course, they're like, well, I know GP, but they also decided to look at Business Central, and they chose to go with Business Central. So very interesting. And of course, their specific need was the fact that they were spread all over the world, and everything being cloud-based just totally made sense for them as a business. All right, so let's just recap now. We're coming to the end of our session. And so why are people moving? Again, that cost savings, there's some great Excel value add calculators, which you can basically put in all your variables, and it shows you kind of how much money you save over time. So again, you can get that in the community or from your partner. A great little tool for building out that cost saving. Again, we talked a lot about all these business benefits. And one thing that really resonates with me is that whole security. Had clients who've been, breached, and it's a very serious situation. So that's just, I think, just invaluable. You can't put a price tag on that. Again, we've got that disparate, or that workforce. I didn't mention this earlier, but multi-generational. Some businesses have 5 generations. These younger employees, they're just come up in a digital age. They just want those tools. And so we can make sure that we can make those available for them. So again, that whole community, the user group community, the partner community, we're here to support you every step of the way. And again, it is your journey, it's your choice. And I think there's lots and lots of great tools there to support you in that journey. And again, look at that Forrester report for further information, but lots and lots of great support there out in the community. And again, it's entirely, it is your journey. And again, thank you so much. I was just thrilled to be here with you guys today. And there's so many great sessions, and I'm just, I'm in awe of Dynamics Con. They've really taken, put a lot of effort into all these sessions, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as all of us are at Encore. And if you do have any questions, we'll be addressing them now.
Hi, everyone.
everyone. I hope you enjoyed that awesome session by my colleague Tracey Santos. As you probably recognize, I am not her. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it with us today, but she's asked me to step in and kind of assist and do this Q&A on her behalf. I was kind of watching as the session was going on, and yeah, I see that there's a lot of questions here. So I kind of want to get started on those. I see there's a lot of awesome ones, and thanks, Belinda, for kind of stepping in and kind of answering some of those, because of course we only have a short time together. But yeah, just like Tracey, I'm an account manager with Encore as well. So we spend a lot of time answering our clients' questions in regards to GP versus Business Central, different things like that. So Tammy, I see you're a longtime user of GP, thinking about switching to Dynamics 365, and you're totally right. The options are extremely overwhelming. So in terms of best way of handling the process, I really, my best advice is get a good partner that's going to be able to guide you through this process. A good partner and a good account manager is going to be your key to success. Do your research, do the demos, do everything you can to kind of set yourself up for success with that transition. And also don't feel like you need to tackle everything right at the beginning. Do your basic kind of setup of what you guys, are using in GP today. And then kind of as you go along with your system year after year, you can slowly make those investments into new modules that you might be interested in. Kathy's asking how dimensions work comparable to GP. So so there's a bit of a different setup. GP is a segmented chart of accounts, whereas Dynamics 365 Business Central is dimensions. So segmented really means that you are going to define the accounts by basically departments or service levels. So they're going to be kind of what's necessary to track your information. Whereas dimensions are user definable lists. So you're going to be able to track any sort of characteristics, and you're going to be able to sort by one or more of those dimensions. Okay, so that's kind of the key difference. Most people who are using GP don't find it too difficult to switch over to the dimensional accounting model. But yes, it is something that is different. Serby, you're talking about F9 reporting systems. You've been using that for a long time. How is the report generating process done in Business Central? So there is reporting capabilities, of course, in Business Central, account schedules, Excel templates, Power BI packs, all enough for your basic kind of financial forecasting. But if you do find that is too limited for you, there are many other third-party solutions that are available to kind of handle those reporting needs if you find that the kind of built-in capabilities aren't quite as robust as what you're looking for. Choyo, if the customer uses GP 2013, do we need to upgrade to 2015? Yes, I believe so. So last I heard, there was unfortunately no tool to take you from 2013. So the migration tools or transition tools, you have to be on 2015 or later for that to work, the last I heard. So normally what your partner will do is they will kind of handle that upgrade with your transition over to Business Central. Dan, I believe your question was addressed. You were asking about sales order processing and inventory features. Currently, what are the SOP and inventory features that are missing? So unfortunately, I'm not really sure in regards to what's missing, but I do know that majority of what was in GP is now in Business Central. So there's a lot of tools in relation to inventory, I know specifically. So yeah, I definitely encourage you to check it out again. There's been a lot of updates and upgrades to the solution recently, so feel free to check back and see if you have any specific questions about what's missing. Be happy to reach out. I'd be happy to reach out to you to kind of look into those any further. Jennifer, you happen to know when NAV will end or when we'll be forced to update to Dynamics 365? So the last version of NAV was 2018 R2. And so I looked that up, and it actually, the end of mainstream support for that is October 2023. So at that point, we always encourage you to upgrade before the end of that mainstream support to make sure you're on a supported version. And then, yeah, so after that 2018 version, your next upgrade would take you to Dynamics 365 Business Central. And then Kathy, ISVs, tons of ISVs are compatible with Business Central through AppSource. So anybody can visit it, just go on AppSource and kind of look through the apps. It'll tell you exactly what's compatible with Business Central. And then Benjamin, I think Belinda reached out to you in regards to converting Dynamics 365 Business Central, converting to Business Central for companies that heavily use project accounting. So there's lots of features in jobs and project management in Dynamics 365 Business Central. So I'm thinking that's probably the type of capabilities that you're looking for. So again, it just depends on what functionality you're looking for, but I'm going to assume most of that is going to be found in the jobs feature or project management tool within Business Central. And then Kathy, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with Use, but again, AppSource, great tool. Check it out, see if Use is on there. As Belinda mentioned, there is lots of companies that had third-party tools that were integrated with GP that they've now invested in making them work with Dynamics 365 Business Central. So again, all that can be found in AppSource. Christopher, any experience or best practices when using the GP BC migration tool? So yeah, so there is a tool that I'm a bit familiar with Microsoft, and then I believe there's actually some other third-party migration tools that have been developed in the meantime. In terms of best practices, unfortunately, I'm not technical, so I can't advise in regards to best practices. But again, if there's any specific questions that you do have, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help you out. And what else is here? Awesome. Belinda's talking about Power Platform. Again, lots of connectivity and options to customize. Yes, Dynamics 365 Business Central is a very robust solution. What else is here? Let me see. Web APIs, yes, I did happen to look up a few of them. Again, available in AppSource. Perfect, yeah, APIs. There was also a session yesterday by Mary Thompson. So Benjamin, check that out if you want more information on that. Tanya, so yeah, in regards to the migration tool, like I said, I know there's a few third parties that have developed third-party tools in combination with Microsoft's. Again, as not being a technical person, I'm not quite sure what our team is recommending at this point, but again, feel free to shoot me an email and I'd be happy to have a chat with them, or you can even have a chat with them yourself and see if they have any direct recommendations for you. Perfect. And then Ben, biggest concern is converting from GP since you heavily use project accounting. Yeah, so again, jobs and project management are going to be your biggest assets, most likely in Dynamics 365 Business Central. And from what I hear from my clients and all the demos, you can, it's pretty easy to find. What else? Perfect. Currently using 2018, 2023. Perfect. Yeah, Jennifer. So you do have some time. It's not a rush. It's just something that we need to make you aware of before that change. Everyone likes to be prepared. We don't want anybody trying to, scrambling and concerned about this transition. All the clients that I know have done it. It's been a blessing. They loved it. I've heard no complaints so far. So, but yes, you do have plenty of time to plan for that. So don't worry. Perfect. Okay, so that was, I kind of went through that quickly. I was worried we weren't going to have enough time. If anybody has any more questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. As Tracey mentioned, lots of awesome reasons to transition to Business Central, lots of awesome features. Being on a cloud-based solution means you don't need to worry about any of that infrastructure. Some people really enjoy the fact that, it's they don't have to worry about that GP annual renewal anymore. That changes into a monthly payment. And of course, the biggest feature that I would say that people love the most is no more upgrades. So once you're on that cloud-based solution, we don't need to worry about that anymore. So I would say that's the biggest feature that my clients are extremely excited about. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to me. I can leave my email in the chat for all you guys if you have any questions that I wasn't able to get through today. Other than that, thank you so much for joining today. Tracey would be very appreciative, as am I, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.